understand that by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you review the information with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented? Going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated? I'm sorry, you all don't talk behind the court reporter. Right here, excuse me.
Mr. Meadows. Mr. Meadows.
Thank you. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Harrison, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, you're to be sentenced to 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There are no applications. The state will take in consideration 2023 CR 10983. Is it everyone's intention that this case, if I follow the agreement, is to run concurrent with the probation case?
Yes, yes,
Right.
Your Honor.
And then it will be concurrent with cause number 2022 CR 10906W. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Oh, Your Honor.
And also, is this a family violence case?
It is a family violence.
All right. Did you understand if the court, from reading the stipulations or any evidence that's presented, if I determine that this is a family violence case, then I will enter an affirmative finding of family violence. Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no
No
contest?
contest.
State any evidence?
State offer states exhibit 1 with attachments.
Any objections?
No
Oh,
objection.
sorry, Judge. No objections.
No. You're offering states exhibits 1 and attachments?
Yes, Judge. It's been a long day.
No problem. Any
No
objections?
objection,
All
Your Honor.
right. Ms. Harrison, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Pursuant to our agreement, Your Honor, Ms. Harrison has a right to ask you to bend the plea agreement and give her, or rather reinstate her probation. And that support thereof in the PSI, it shows that they say she didn't have a mental health or didn't take mental health treatment because she attempted suicide, but she did. I want to make that correction. In her hand are 2 completions of self-rehabilitative efforts in the jail of family violence. But she has a right to ask that outside of the agreement of
Yes.
5 years. I asked the court to follow the agreement, but perhaps to consider taking both cases and putting her back on probation. Lastly, her mother's here in court and supports her. That's a good sign because of her past. She still has not thrown in the towel for her daughter. Do you want to talk to the judge?
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Adriana Harrison.
All right, defense.
May she make a narrative statement, Your Honor?
State, do you have any objections to the narrative?
No objection.
All right,
I just want to say I apologize for my action. I just want to say I apologize for my action on my behalf with my daughter. I owe her a deep apology for acting the way I acted. And let's just say sorry to you for ending backing up in front of you, Judge. And for you to please give me another chance.
all right, what's your daughter's name?
Ariana.
Okay.
At all. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, anything from the state?
No, Judge.
All right. You want to explain that to me?
I'm just trying to get my daughter back.
No, why do you have a knife in your hand?
Can you explain this?
And how old is your daughter?
She just turned 2.
All right, so do you realize that your daughter remembers you with a knife in your hand?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to work on your anger issues because this isn't the first time that you've been to this court for anger issues. And I know your mom says, well, would probably say, oh, she needs help with her mental health or she needs help with her drug issues. That's what I was giving you when you were on probation for that. And you didn't take advantage of it. You just doing whatever you want to do. So I don't know where your anger issues stem from, but you need to get those under control because otherwise, you know what's going to end up happening? You're going to end up being a habitual. You know what that means in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
That means if you pick up another felony, depending on the type of felony, your minimum is 25 years in prison.
Yes, ma'am.
And then if you go to prison for 25 years, when you come out, your child will be an adult. Hopefully your child will not be before a judge with a defense attorney saying, oh, my mom pulled out a knife when I was 2 years old and I was there to witness it and she was being violent to her girlfriend and she went to prison. So I didn't have anybody to raise me. That's what's called the cycle. And that's what ends up happening when you do these things.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's going to be an affirmative finding of family violence. Take in consideration 2023 CR 10983. This will run concurrent with 2022 CR 1090W. There's to be no contact with Diamond, Dyamond Jones, Dylan Angeles, Dylanangeles, and there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Could you pass that, please? Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because it's a felony conviction and an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we're going to move on to 2022 CR 10906W. I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Adriana Kisna Harrison who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 10906W for the offense of continuous violence 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 1, on or about the 6th day of September 2023 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant, Adriana Kisna Harrison, committed the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
The state waives and abandons all remaining alleged violations.
Any objections?
No objection.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Your Honor, we would ask that you revoke probation at this time, that the defendant be sentenced to 5 years in TDC, and that it run concurrent with her other aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which you just sentenced.
All right, is that the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, ask. Pursuant to the agreement, she's permitted to ask you to ignore it and put her back on probation, nothing further.
All right. Are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then the court will follow your agreement. The court will grant the motion, find you guilty, revoke, sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with, I think it's Taquidra, Taquuiedra Evans. There should be no unsupervised contact with minors. And I'm sorry, what was the cause number for the other case? Does anybody know offhand?
The one,
Yes.
2023 CR 9045W.
And it's to run concurrent with 2023 CR 9045W. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence and a conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. You're going to have to do better. And obviously, you should not be in any relationship with anyone until you get your life together. And you should not be in a child's life until you get your life together, because children learn by what they see and what they hear. When you see a child who's using profanity and they're young, they didn't just like all of a sudden start using profanity. The people around them use profanity. And when you have a child who sees violence in their life, they start thinking that's the way you solve problems, by using violence. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.